Hi, folks. Welcome to the off night. How are you doing? Yeah, my hair is just kind of totally blown out because I actually used, conditioner. I'm not used to it, and my hair is not used to it. But that's okay. I can have a hat. I was overwhelmed this week with being old. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get and talk about the off night and get excited. And a guy who's really excitable, you're gonna like him a lot. As Mark Sweetman. So here he comes.
Hey! Baby. All right. Thank you for joining us, everybody. It's the off night. Hey, let's bring Andy back out here. He's the man that brings me on every week. So, we got to hold on. I'm doing this by myself. There we go. Now we're both on.
Oh yes. Hey, how you doing?
Welcome to the off night. It's our show where we talk about basically our lives. It started out as a show for comics during the pandemic, where we could all get together because we couldn't go out to the clubs. And it ended up being, now we're at episode number 222.
Got it.
So this is the one.
Room 222? This is room 222 now?
No, this is episode 222. If it was room 222, we'd probably be doing an episode on white guys with afros. You remember
There
Bernie?
we go. Yeah, that was like, Bernie had the afro. There you go.
Yeah. And what's the last
Bernie?
And I tell you, most of the guys I know named Bernie are they white? Yeah, they're old men. They're all Bernies are old men that I know.
Oh yeah.
We had one. I went to grade school with a Bernie. Come to find out, his name was Michael. We just called him Bernie. I don't know why.
Probably because he watched Room 222.
This was before Room 222.
Got it.
Dating yourself.
Yeah,
you can get episodes of that on YouTube.
You can get episodes. You can get episodes of everything on YouTube.
I know. It got Mr. Kaufman, Mr. Nixon.
Yeah, Mr. Dixon, Mr. Kaufman. Yeah. That was all right. Karen Valentine couldn't even tell you the name of her character. I
know, but she was brought up from the South. I saw the first episode. She was brought up in a what was it, Jim Crow era. So that's what her initial start into the whole thing.
Yeah, she was. I think she was a student teacher for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 years a student teacher. Then she finally got to be a teacher. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. But she was, she got a chance to do. Maybe they taught. They gave you more time back then to be a student teacher, as opposed to now, where they just.
Bernie was the white kid. Jason was the black kid. Remember him?
Yeah. And he was hard on her. He was hard on Karen Valentine from the start.
I guess so.
All right, episode 222.
Not too bad. So, what have you been up to, man?
Today, I put a new towel rack in the shower room area of our bathroom in the condo.
That's good. That's a good thing to do.
And what else? I took my middle son to a couple of job interviews, and what else?
What kind of jobs?
Just restaurant jobs. He doesn't want. I told him the Ford transmission plant's right down the street. He goes, no, he doesn't want to do that. So he basically wants a job where he can get night and inconsistent hours so that he can interview for other jobs. He wants a job that he can interview from.
There you go.
He just wants the hours and the dollars.
He just likes to eat.
Yeah, he just likes to eat.
So he needs
yeah. He learned from his sister. She's changing jobs next week, but it took her so long to find another job because she worked 8 to 4 every day, and that's when everybody interviews. And that's when everybody interviews. Those are office hours. So she had time finding a job. So he learned from her. Get a job with off hours, and then you'll have time to interview when the people that are hiring do the interviewing. So.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You can always get a seasonal job and just sort of do that and then interview right afterwards. You know.
Hey, you know what? I see the other two guys are on. So let me get Susan to read her poem. That'll kick us
Okay.
off. Be on our way. All right, Susan.
Sounds good.
Hello. All right, here's my poem.
Oh. Hello.
2 Al Jazeera journalists were killed in Israeli airstrike. Others died too, including a 16-year-old kid on a bike. Were employees involved in the October 7th attack? The Relief and Works Agency of the UN was, perhaps. The evidence suggests that 9 UN employees may be to blame. If this turns out to be true, I say shame, shame, shame. Olympics are ongoing with many medals being won. Hope you are watching and enjoying the fun.
Hey, there we go. Thank you, Susan. Let's get Andy back on the air here. Here we go. And as long as we got Andy there, let's bring out Sam and Jason too.
So Susan,
and
how did?
I can hear Sam's air conditioning going, so we know it must be hot in New York.
There we go.
5,000th of a second.
Yes. They said that it takes 20 of that time times 20 is how long it takes us to blink.
You
So
know,
it was
if
1/20th of the time to blink for the difference.
if the guy from Jamaica had gone to the tape with his chest instead of his head, he would have won.
You're probably right.
And if this had happened 30 years ago, before they had this kind of advanced technology, he would have been the winner.
No, probably. Well, that's what we got that for.
They've had 2 on the podium before for the gold.
Hey, look at that.
What are we looking at?
We're looking at
Fernwood tonight.
Fernwood Uber. It's Fernwood Uberalis.
Is that Fred Willard?
Yeah,
It
it
sure
is.
is.
This is the faithful sidekick Jerry.
Larry Miller?
And who's the other guy? It looks like Larry Miller. Except Larry Miller wasn't Miller wasn't bald back then, unless it's a later episode.
I think this might have been they did like some sort of a reunion show, and it looks like maybe that's what it's from.
That would be that could be Larry Miller then.
Yes, but I just thought I'd have something appropriate given my oeuvre.
Fred Willard was responsible for me making more money in one gig than I've ever made in my life.
Oh, hold on.
What did he do? I must know.
It wasn't what he did, it's what he didn't do.
Not show up?
He was very ill
Right.
and he couldn't perform. And I happened to be hanging out, no other reason, in Lake Tahoe. And somebody said, a guy called me from the casino, and he said, "Listen, you're a comedian, right?" And I went, "Yes." And he said, "Well, Fred Willard is sick." I go, "Yeah, but I'm not a doctor, so what do you want from me?" And he said, "Well, no, Fred Willard is sick, and we couldn't find another comedian." I said, "Evidently." And he said, "So listen, are you available?" And I said, "Yeah, I wanted to, the old Jim Norton joke. I was trying to think of a word faster than yes."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But I said, "Well, I'm listening." And he said, "Well, it's $11,000. Yes." It could have been a year. Okay. Yes. So he said it's $11,000 for 3 nights. And then if you do a 4th night, it'll be another $2,500. And he said, Are you crying? Are you weeping? I go, "No, but I can call 3 bookers now and tell them to go fuck themselves."
I'll never walk alone.
By the way, that was on TV today. Carousel.
Carousel? Oh, okay.
My favorite and yet the most depressing musical of all time.
Oh, yeah. Terrible.
Oh man, that was on, and so was Oklahoma.
Oh, 2 good
That's
ones.
kind of depressing.
Is
And of course the best thing about Oklahoma was that matinee idol, Rod Steiger.
Rod Steiger. You have a problem with Rod Steiger?
I bid $50 for that bitch. Yeah.
Paid
I got the
$50 for
motive.
that bitch.
I got the motive, which is
Good
money,
enough.
and the body, which is dead.
Yes. They call me Mr. Tibbs.
So,
But that's not
when
your
Mr.
name. I know, but nonetheless, they
What do
call
they-
me Mr. Tibbs.
What do they call you up there in Philadelphia?
You know how you survive? You take a rag and you rip it in half, and then you sell it to somebody, and you get another rag and you rip it in half and you sell it to them, and that's how you survive. That's how you do it. Yes.
By the way, that scene in that movie where the rednecks have hit Sidney Poitier surrounded in the garage,
Yeah,
and that one guy goes, "Nigga lava," right?
yeah.
I have never seen that fast a slap in my life from Rod Steiger. Like, pop, 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 pop.
Who directed that movie?
Norman Jewison.
I was about to say that. Okay. all
What's the
right,
one that Pacula directed? Wasn't there?
Who?
Scott Bakula.
No, not
Pakula?
Pacula. Yeah.
Yeah, Alan.
Well,
Was it
he
Alan
directed a
Pacula?
number of movies.
Let me see it. Yeah, but it was one with. Hold on, let me find it.
Yeah, he's the one who ended up dying on the LIE.
Yes, he did.
Had like what, a heart attack or something, or is that Harry Chapin?
No, Chapin was the worst driver ever.
And he wrote
Uh-huh.
Taxi. Yeah, perfect.
And,
Yep.
and he was a reckless driver.
That's
Yep.
funny.
But he did give his, true liberal though, gave his money away. I mean,
Well, he was a reckless driver in a VW,
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but he gave away almost.
But at least he didn't kill a baby bear.
No, I mean, I meant it. He did tons and tons of charity, and backed it up, with his own.
By the way,
proceeds.
this is how you know that Robert Kennedy's career as a politician is over. I ran into and killed a baby bear. Okay, Bob, that's nice. Next.
Well, the picture of him with the barbecued dog didn't help.
All right, I was way off. Alan Pakula only in that era. He directed a lot of films, but the only one he directed during the time what I would have mistaken it for any of Rod Steiger's or Sidney Poitier's films. He did The Sterile Cuckoo in '69
with
Liza Minnelli.
With Liza Minnelli. Yep,
wow.
that was actually a pretty good film.
And the music was The Association. Come Saturday morning.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
God.
Yeah, that's about that 67, 68, 69 period is when they started using. I think the Easy Rider was the first one, like in '67. After that, everybody started putting in
and the
music to sell
Graduate.
records. And the Graduate
Mike
too.
Nichols,
Okay.
using
Right,
Simon and
right.
Garfunkel. But to me, it really hit almost a peak with Dog Day Afternoon when they're listening to an Elton John
Amarina.
song. Yeah, Amarina's playing, and then it turns and it smoothly segues into them listening to it out of the car radio. And he's getting all those great establishing shots of New York and just that this really is just a really hot and miserable
And the
afternoon.
guy who played Leon, Sonny's lover,
Yes,
was a Sarandon, Chris
Chris
Sarandon,
Sarandon.
who made the mistake of marrying Susan Sarandon.
Well,
Isn't he the one that ended up being the prince in The Princess Bride?
it was a vampire in a vampire movie.
I don't know if that was him.
I thought that
think
was
it
Chris.
is him,
I think
yeah.
that was Chris Sarandon. Oh, I know who gave us music. Well, actually, he didn't start it, but the one who really overdid it was Scorsese in Mean Streets. Did you ever see that?
Yes,
I
I was just
I
about
don't
to
think-
say that. Yes,
I don't think there was 1 second of that film where there wasn't some FM radio tune playing.
Well, same thing with Departed.
But you have to love the jazz.
That's
score.
that's a thing with Scorsese.
that is
movies.
a Scorsese thing. You're
But-
right.
By the way,
Yes.
I'll tell you something I think is very funny. There are a significant number of what they call the squad, among Democratic women, the far left wing women,
Yeah,
Mhm.
one of them is my congressman or congressperson.
and they're getting beaten in the primaries.
Not in my district.
Well, no, not in your district.
I don't know who. First of all, it's so funny how all these people are talking around here are talking about how they want to get rid of Rashida Tlaib. And I said,
They'll never get rid of her.
I said, one, you don't live in her district, so you can't even vote against her. And two, who are you going to get to replace? Who do you think is going to come out of the 12th district that's going to be any better for your causes than Rashida Tlaib? You know.
Well, what cause is that?
For the white cisgendered male Christian in the 12th district, nothing. Pat Boone wouldn't. Pat Boone wouldn't win against the white male Christian heterosexual.
Okay, I am ticking only a few of those boxes, as you know, only about half of them.
I know.
Sorry, but
cleanly shaven. Let me add cleanly shaven. That ain't taking you out of it. I'm taking you out of it completely now.
but
if there wasn't an attack on Israel on March 7th, was March 7th?
Yes,
October 7th.
Would you think any of these? Do you think any of these women's seats would be in jeopardy?
No.
Oh, you think it's all?
Oh, absolutely.
No, they're in safe seats, Sam.
Their opponents are being financed by AIPAC.
I know, but I know the opponent here in our district, the Democrat. He hasn't even come to our Democratic club to talk to us. The guy is running on money from PACs.
You do know that that is also a way for people to sort of try out politicians. They put them in races they can't win, see how they do.
And that's true.
Then
that's true.
I mean, look how many times the Republicans tried to run John James as senator, as governor. I mean, nice enough guy and a former military dude, and of course,
and he's dog catcher now, right? Did he win that dog catcher race?
I mean, something like that. I mean, seriously, I mean, would have a hard time getting that job, but. You know how Republicans in this state, we love to pander. Remember when we ran Ray Lucas for governor back in like 86, I think it was?
William Lucas. I appreciate
William Lucas. I mean, Bill Lucas was a good
or Maurice Lucas.
Well, but you know, but terrible politician. I mean,
Mucus Lucas.
That would be him.
John Lucas.
John Lucas.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I think is funny. What's her name? Usha Vance?
Yes, the wife of Jay.
Right. She said that his remark about cat ladies was a quip. It was a quip. And I said, isn't a quip how Elmer Fudd describes a LA gang?
Blood. Quips and bloods.
Quips and blood.
Quips and blood.
I'm riding in your car.
I'm riding in your car. You turn on the radio.
You wascally wibble.
This is something that I think is not killing, but really hurting the Republicans. You know that douchebag Gorka, Simon.
Simon Gorka.
Yeah, he referred to
Sebastian.
Yeah, he said, why would anybody vote for Kamala Harris just because she has a vagina? And then, if that wasn't bad enough, he then referred to her as colored.
Oh!
Wow.
And I thought to myself, is there no one in the Republican Party who will stand up and go, this guy's an idiot? Not one, not any of them, none.
No.
That's amazing to me.
Jason, why won't you be the one? You be the one, Jason.
First
Come on,
off,
buddy.
I haven't actually heard the whole thing yet, and
Right.
Sam.
I did.
Sam,
and it was awful.
Sam has just informed me of it, and if that is in fact what he said, and I trust Sam to be an honest reporter, that is a pretty fucking stupid thing to say. It is. What do you want me to do?
And the thing is, he's not an elected official. He's not in the cabinet. He wasn't in Trump's cabinet longer than an hour and a half. So why doesn't anyone smack him and go, or just go, no, this guy's an idiot? Not
Don't
one.
point out your mistakes.
Not any of them.
Never point to your mistakes. You know that. I mean, did anyone get all in high dudgeon when Joe Biden called Lloyd Austin the black guy when he was referring to his Secretary of Defense?
That's a huge difference between that and colored. That's a huge difference.
I don't know.
Oh.
It's still pretty
Oh, I do.
It's still pretty
Oh.
it's still
Oh,
pretty
I do.
It's still pretty pejorative. And the fact is,
Calling someone a
nobody.
black guy is not a pejorative. Calling someone colored is.
I
Colored is like
understand
from
the difference.
1954.
I understand. Just like remember how the Southern Democrat senators
Hey,
used to
how
say
old color?
Negro,
I'll tell you how old
and
colored
they'd say
is. My
they'd say
grandmother told
Nigra
me that we don't
instead.
use that anymore. That's how old colored is.
I know. I remember when there was that time when the going from colored to black person was kind of a thing, when you didn't quite know exactly
It
which
went
one to use.
Negro, colored, black, African American,
American,
and enough of this
BIPOC,
shit.
person of color.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, but yeah, you remember how Southern Democrats used to
Back to
all say
black.
Nigra,
Well, you know what's interesting about that? Those Southern Democrats became Republicans.
They sure
well,
did.
they were Southern Democrats. They certainly were.
When the Civil Rights Bill passed, they became Republicans.
with
Trent Lott.
major Democrat resistance. Remember Uncle Bill from Senator Bill, but Uncle Bill is LBJ used to refer to him. In fact, it took Everett Dirksen, the Republican from Illinois, to get that
Yes.
through.
Gorgeous speaking voice.
There was a time when at least, give this to LBJ. I know you don't like him, and for good reasons you don't like him. But the thing is, he did know how to get his agenda through.
Who's
and he
that?
Knew how to horse
LBJ.
He knew
I
how to
liked him a
horse trade.
lot. I did, but he made
last
such
week-
a huge fatal mistake.
Yeah, called Vietnam.
That horrible Gulf. People. It's like they say, well, the Gulf of Tonkin was based on a lie and killed 58,000 Americans, and it's
Pretty
like
much.
people are going, all right, well, there's that.
Yeah, but the LBJ knew how to get senators in there, and he knew how to get their votes, Republican or Democrat.
Oh no, he was the greatest arm twister of all time.
He knew how to get it done. He'd give you a little, tell you, I need this, but you need that, and we can work something out, and things got done.
Anybody who would have a conference with a female assistant while sitting on the toilet with the door open,
Yeah.
which he did.
He used to love to make everyone during cabinet meetings go down and skinny dip in the pool, and apparently Hubert Humphrey absolutely hated that, and that was mainly because LBJ swinging along a 2.5 foot long joke penis.
Well, no, that's not why. It was the shrinkage.
Oh well, for those of us in
you're about the pole vaulter that knocked down the bar.
Are you kidding? That's going to be my next screensaver shot. It's amazing.
Leah Krinsky had the best line about that. For those of you that haven't heard, there's a pole vaulter in the Olympics, and he would have made it over the pole except his manhood, his unit knocked off the pole. And Leah Krinsky's line was, I'd make a joke about the pole vaulter, but that's just low-hanging fruit.
That's funny. That's very funny. My favorite Carol Leifer joke?
Yeah.
She goes, I don't have any kids, at least none that I know.
None that I know about.
Yes.
Is she the one who also gave us, no, there's no one sitting here, except the Lord Jesus? Or is that, when you're like traveling on a bus and someone wants to sit next to you?
Darwin Hines is the one I remember doing that joke. Remember Darwin, Andy?
Yeah, of course. Who could forget Darwin? Constantly locking the door every time we pulled in.
Yeah, he came back on Facebook. Elliot Branch died. I don't know if you heard that, Andy.
Oh, no.
Yeah, one of Sam, for you, he's one of our comics. He's ours. None of the Detroit comics know him now because he's lived out in LA for 30 years, but he's one of ours. And he just passed away this past week. So another one. We're at that age where we're going to get one a week now.
Do you remember Ronnie Shakes?
Sure do. Man,
Ronnie Shakes, for those of you who don't know, Ronnie Shakes is a wonderful comedian who died while jogging in Cuyahoga Falls, I think, with his wife. And there was a comic, I do not remember who it was, but a week after Ronnie Shakes died, he was, is that me?
It's not me.
No.
Not me.
What?
Somebody's phone is ringing. Is that you, Andy? Must be Sam. Got to be Sam.
No ringing here.
No, it's my landline. And the only reason we have a landline is for my father-in-law.
Yeah, but
wanting your landline, huh?
So someone calling me to let me know that the escort is knocking at
No,
the door.
it's always
and
the
would like to
same
come
thing. You know,
Is someone
hi,
calling
Sam.
from 19? Go
Hi,
ahead.
Sam. This is Donald Trump. What? Huh? What?
What?
Who?
Who?
But anyway, so there was a comic. He should go by the name Shameless Bastard, but a week after Ronnie Shakes died, he was using Ronnie Shakes jokes.
Oh my God! No.
And this is what's great. So he does one of the this is in L.A. and I was there and I love this. So he's doing one of his jokes, and three of us coughed and did this. Dead guy.
Good guy.
Dead guy. And he gets off stage, and I forget. It was Igby's
Oh wow.
on Tennessee Avenue,
I remember Igby's.
and I can't remember who the manager was.
His name was Kerry. Hold on, I'll look it up. Kerry something.
But anyway, he gave
in
the
fact,
greatest.
I just heard from him when my brother died. I heard from.
He did the greatest "You're dead to me" line of all time.
Yeah.
The guy gets off stage, and Kerry says to him, "Are you open next week?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "And you'll stay that way."
Yeah.
He says, "Don't come back here. Not even to bust tables. Don't ever come back here."
Very funny.
And so
God.
as he's leaving, who the hell was it? God damn it.
Kerry Kozloff was the
Yes.
was the manager.
As he's leaving, who was the comic? Oh shit. Jay Moore. As he's leaving, Jay Moore goes, "Shame on you. Oh, shame." And I said to Jay, I said, "Couldn't you have found a better way to make him feel bad?" He goes, "Oh, I thought that was just fine."
Well, Jim
He
Moore
says, "Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to marry a billionaire."
yeah,
Yeah.
but say Jay Moore's got a great story about the time that he stole somebody's material for an SNL sketch, and it made it to air, where it was revealed that he was not the full author of said piece, and he relates it as not one of his finest moments. I give the man credit for being honest about the whole thing.
Let me tell you
know.
his finest moment. Can I tell you his finest moment?
Well, marrying the billionaire is probably pretty
He's
good.
sleeping with the owner of the Lakers.
Yes.
No matter what anybody wants to say about him, he's sleeping with Jeannie Buss.
I thought they
No,
got
And
married.
they
They didn't
sleep
get married.
in the same room.
I didn't know.
Clint Eastwood's paramour has recently passed away. She was 61 or 64 or
She was
whatever.
61. No, she was 61.
Yeah.
And he is
Yeah.
94.
And
Yeah.
I'm offering to go over there and take her place. So it's like,
Oh.
Clint, whatever you need, you know. And if you want to fool around, Clint, it's fine with me. You know, we'll work it out for you. It's all good. You know, I'm
that
a little...
show, Tulsa King?
Yeah, with the Sly Stallone. That one.
It's wonderful.
It is. I like it.
So there's a scene in it where he sleeps with this woman, right, in Tulsa, and they're talking, and she says, "How old are you?" And he goes, "Well, let me see. Let me put it this way. When JFK was assassinated, I was in high school." And she goes, "Jesus Christ, how old are you?" And he goes, "I'm 75." And she gets up and she puts her clothes on and she leaves. And she was very attracted to this guy, and she leaves. And she said, I can't do that. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's a fuck you to me too. I mean, come on. What the hell's wrong with you? Well, you had a good time. He's a charming guy, but you don't like the age difference. And you know, I said, my daughter said, you know, I was dating a woman before I met my wife, way before I met my wife, and she was 18 and I was 33. And my daughter goes, "You're nothing but a groomer."
I get called that too, and then security comes and takes me off the middle school campus, and it's bad.
Well, the thing is, I didn't know how old she was when we met, and by the time we got involved, that's when I found out. By that time, I didn't care.
Well, I was Bill Wayman. We talk about Woody all the time. Bill Wayman, his present wife, he started going out with her when she was like 13 years old, and it's like, wow.
Oh, the
Bill,
guy with the Rolling Stones,
the former bassist for the Rolling Stones.
and dated her mother.
Wow. At the
Yeah,
same time, or was this
around, yeah.
wow.
That would make him a country and western star, not a rock and roll.
That would make him Jerry Lee Lewis's
Jerry Lee
cut
Lewis.
buddy.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they could take the wives swimming. No, hold on.
What was that line? Jerry Lee Lewis's "Honey, be careful, don't go near the pool" tour.
Well, can you believe? Are you guys familiar with the fire in the club or in the nightclub in Rhode Island by the it's called the Station or something? Killed 100 people. Happened in the early 90s.
White Snake?
Not White Snake, but another one of those bands. Horrifyingly bad. Great White. Great White was the name of the band, of course. They're still on tour. Their lead singer, who's also now in his early 60s, 375 pounds, sweating profusely. Yeah, and still on tour. It's like, I hope he's gotten a better pyrotechnics team behind him. And it's just like, how do you do it? You got 110 people killed. How do you show your face again? I mean, saying something stupid about some guy is one thing, but you got a lot of people killed. It's I don't know. I don't get it.
Did I send all of you that interview with God?
I just got an attachment. I haven't had a chance to
The
look
guy
at
who
it
shot Reagan.
Hinckley?
Hinckley?
Yeah, did I send you the interview with him?
No, I didn't see that.
When did you interview him? Or is it you
I
or
didn't
somebody?
interview him. No, somebody at CNN interviewed him.
Okay.
And they interviewed him because of the recent assassination attempt on Trump.
Right.
And he's been out, of the institutions for
a few
years
now.
And
yeah.
he said, there's just so much. He said, I am heartbroken that I did that. He said, I was a fool. I was a young idiot. And there is so much violence in the world now. And it's just got to end. There's so much division and so much hate. He said, except the Dutch. No. But yeah, he sounded cogent. He sounded, very reasonable. But there was a great line from him where somebody said, listen, we know what you did was a mistake and you didn't mean to, but I think you should know that Donald Trump is banging Jodie Foster.
Well, anyone who knows Jodie knows that that's not
happening. And by the way, good luck with that one.
Yeah, about to say. God, that picture might be a little too revealing for YouTube. I don't know. I don't want to do anything to get us banned. Well,
she wouldn't. Jodie Foster had this rule, when she would do interviews to plug movies and stuff. If you cannot mention his name, you cannot mention Hinckley's name. I'm here to plug the movie. I'm not here to talk about that. And she was right. Frankly, I think she was right. She didn't want to talk about it.
Not at this point. I mean, how many times do you have to go over it? I mean,
well, Harry Connick Jr. His not his wife. Well, yeah, his wife was a model for Victoria's Secret, and he had a rule that if you interviewed him, he'll talk about his music, he'll talk about appearing on Law and Order, all that. But do not bring up that the fact that she was a model, because you're going to say, and he was right about this. Eventually, you'll say something licentious. Eventually, you'll say something. And he said, "I will just leave. I'm not going to curse at you. I'm not going to, but I will leave." And somebody said, "So listen, when you open up a magazine and you see her," and he said, "Listen, I'm sorry to do this, but I told you my ground rules, and you're not listening, and I want to bid you all a farewell." And he got up and left.
Well, if you have a chance to talk to Harry Connick Jr., why would you bring up his wife?
Well, you know about his father?
No.
His father was the attorney, the city attorney for the city, the district attorney for the city of New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah.
And there was a priest who had molested, I don't know, a dozen kids.
Kind of
and
a low
he
number
said,
for
he
priest,
said
but...
he was, and this is a quote, I am loath to prosecute him because I do not want to offend Holy Mother, the Church.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What do you expect? It's Catholic place. Yeah.
Well, do you want to be a government employee or do you want to be a devout Catholic? Make up your mind.
in a lot of places, there's not a lot of difference between the two. How long did it take
Well,
the Italians
and
to kick the
and
church out of their
Louisiana is
affairs?
one of them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
called parishes, for God's sakes.
For a reason. I mean, you don't think the whole kitty diddling thing just blew up overnight, do you? You don't think that had been going on for what? I don't know, 2,000 fucking years?
Since time began.
I mean, the term nepotism, it means the Pope's nephew, because that handsome young man that's with the Pope certainly couldn't be his son, and he couldn't be anything else. So he must be, the nephew of the Pope was their polite euphemism that they would employ. What can you say? I mean, yeah.
By the way, you remember I told you that I skipped my sister-in-law's
You told me
unveiling?
that. I don't know if you told these guys, but you told me that.
My sister-in-law had an unveiling of her tombstone. It's a thing
Oh,
Jews
nice.
do. A year after a person dies, you unveil the tombstone. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is when they pull the sheet back, you hear the rabbi go, ta-da! That's what bothers me. And now this coming weekend is my sister's unveiling.
Do a Copperfield, and there's the girl in the tight tutu behind it.
Now this weekend is my sister's unveiling, and I can't get out of this because it's my sister. And
how would they know? How would they know?
If I wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, they'd know.
Oh, okay.
You want to know how they'd know? There's only one surviving sibling, and you're talking to him.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay. You got to be there, I guess.
Yeah.
The patriarch.
Now, you were the youngest, though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
90. If they all were alive today, it would be 97, 94, 86, 83, me.
You got 20 years to go, buddy. You're gonna be here till 2045.
I told you my goal is to outlive everyone I hate.
Stop meeting people.
Stop running into old friends.
Exactly.
There you go.
Oh, you? Now I got to go 10 more years. Oh, you?
Now, there was a guy in my high school named Jay Bladen. I don't know why I'm telling you his name. It doesn't matter. But anyway, Jay, we were in the cafeteria line, and Jay was an athlete. He wasn't like a jock, but he was an athlete, and he taps me on the shoulder, and we had never, I don't know if we ever spoke 2 words. And he says, I want to get in front of you. I said, why? He said, just shut up, you little fucking Jew.
Ooh.
Oh.
So someone told me very recently, and he died about 2 months ago. And someone told me, did you know Jay Bladen died? I said, oh my God, was it painful? Did he writhe in agony? Was his doctor a Jew? And he said, well, he was married. I said, was it to a Jew? And this guy says, what's your obsession with that? I said, oh, it's not my obsession. No, not Sammy's obsession. No, this is, I just found out 2 weeks ago that Donald Trump's father and mother were in the Klan.
Really?
They were no.
Wow.
Oh, come on. In Queens or wherever they were from, there was a Queens chapter of the QKKK.
More than you think. More than you think.
You're right. I would be surprised.
They were big.
Let me tell you something.
I tell you what, the KKK was big in Detroit.
I did a gig one time in Rosedale, Queens, which is the next town from Long Island. Okay, and it was just after David Dinkins, and you know who David Dinkins is.
Yeah.
Had been elected mayor of New York, and the owner of the club says, "You mind if I do a couple of jokes before you go on?" Or what am I going to tell him? No, So I said, "Yeah, sure." So he gets on stage. He goes, well, we used to be the Big Apple, but I guess with Dinkins in office, now we're the Big Watermelon.
Oh,
Talk about low hanging fruit. Oh, not in a
And
good way.
so I'm
Oh.
looking at the other act, and he looks at me and he goes, "I think we should just walk out of here." I said, "Are you serious?" He said, "No, no." He said, "No." He said, and he said something which I thought was not only funny but deep. He said, "I'm treating this like I would treat it if I accidentally walked in on my folks having sex. It never happened. It just never. I didn't see it. I didn't. I didn't. You know."
Very funny.
Do you remember that? Remember that moment on Modern Family when they walk in on their parents having sex,
Oh yeah.
and Luke, who's the youngest kid, right? He goes, and the two girls are like, "Oh my, I got to wash it out of my eyes." They're like, but Luke goes like this. He goes, "I don't know what was happening, but I think Dad was winning."
I think Dad was with it. Yeah.
That show was so brilliantly written.
Oh yeah.
I was remembering they did a funeral for the clown, and they had the clowns all coming out. You know, was from a clown
And
car.
they threw confetti on the gravesite.
Yeah.
Do you remember who played his partner, his clown partner?
Oh no,
Bobby
no.
Cannavale.
Oh wow.
Really? Good actor.
Well, the story was that, Bobby Cannavale wanted to, he said, "Listen, I got some gigs lined up for us." And Cam says, No, this is a one-shot deal. I have a life. I have a husband. I have a kid. No, he goes, "Well, what, you're screwing me out of money?" He says, "I told you this was." And so they do that thing where Cannavale is behind him, and he's using his arms and legs,
Uh-huh.
and he starts beating the shit out of him.
Arms expert. There we go.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, that was a good show. That was a good episode.
Well, what was the one where Cam said he could be he could pick up a woman? It was Elizabeth Banks.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to remember the
line.
Yeah, the line. Yeah, the I could be a I can't remember the line, but it was it was like if you came out of a machine called that, you could be a ladies' man, but it wasn't ladies' man.
Ah, there we go. That was a really good show. They had a lot of good writing on that show.
Well, they just it was such a unique show. The whole relationship between Jay and Gloria.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the great lines is Gloria says to Jay, "I'm going to go upstairs and take a shower. Do you want to join me?" And Jay says, "Listen, in the tool shed in the garage, there's a rifle. I want you to use it on me if I ever say no to that question."
oh boy. Yeah. There was a time.
I like the season that Cam became the football coach.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that was fun.
And Celia Weston played his mother. And
Yeah. Oh God.
Guy played his father. Oh man. Longtime veteran character actor. He was an urban cowboy. He played John Travolta's uncle.
Oh yeah.
Barry Corbin.
Yeah, probably
that would make sense.
That sounds close.
Yeah. Yeah, Barry Corbin.
Who had a really great. Barry Corbin was in No Country for Old Men in one of the very last scenes, where he sits there and he's in a wheelchair and he has oh God, with what's his name, the other sheriff who's retiring, and great repartee.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Tommy Lee Jones, and I did not recognize that it was Barry Corbin.
I got to go watch that one again.
Yeah,
No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, I do.
It's sort of a takeoff on what, High Noon, kind of, maybe a little, because
my favorite Coen Brothers movie was Burn After Reading.
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh my
That's a good
God.
one.
Are they the
George
ones that
Clooney?
Just for Malkovich.
Yeah.
Just for him.
Well,
Just for him.
Now,
What?
did
He's
they,
great.
they did
Huh?
Did they do Raising Arizona?
yes,
Yeah,
he did.
yes.
It's brilliant.
Who
Raising
Absolutely
Arizona is
brilliant.
great.
who directed Blood Simple?
The Coen brothers.
The Coen
That's their
brothers.
first
Was that them
movie.
too? Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think that's Frances McDormand's entry into the big time. And
Yeah.
you know, and
And
she's
and who is Fargo? Who direct? Oh, that was the.
Coen
was-
brothers.
That was her. That was
Coen
them.
brothers.
Yeah.
That was them.
My favorite is between Barton Fink and The Big Lebowski.
Well, you know, the thing wonderful about Barton Fink was John Mahoney playing. Was he playing William Faulkner or Faulkner-like character?
He's playing William Faulkner.
God, he was so great.
Yeah.
Man, John Mahoney was just so goddamn good.
My favorite line is that you can hit throw a rock and you can hit a writer anywhere in this town. What do you want me to do, Barton Fink? What I want you to do is throw that rock hard.
I always love that line in that movie Live from Studio 60 when one of their writers stole a line from a comic.
Mhm.
And they said they want to find the writer whose joke it was. And by the way, this would never happen in any of our lifetimes. They were going to find the writer whose joke it was and pay him for it. Hello,
Oh.
have we been to
Yeah.
Fantasyland?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to say, is that a fantasy?
That'll happen in movies only.
Only in
movie.
movies.
And by the way, the movie has to be a fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, but there was a line in it where they go, "Well, we found the name of the comic, so he should be pretty easy to nail down. Well, what's his name? Remember, this is L.A. Lenny Gold." And it was Matthew Perry
Yeah.
who says, "Gee, how many Lenny Golds could there be?
Very.
Lenny Gold." You never did. I always say this to Mark because I know the other two. You don't know who they are, but I will introduce them to you. You remember David Say?
I do. In fact, I had
So
I had an interaction with him on Facebook.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he's married to a girl now, and he's trying to promote her. She's not a comic, but she's like a writer, and he's really trying to promote her a lot.
Really good guy.
Yeah, he's nice.
And very professional. He did a show one time. He did like 14 Tonight shows.
He took me with him to the Tonight Show when Joan Rivers was still
Right.
guest hosting, and he was the comic that night. And I got to go backstage on that time.
Well, he did a show one time on the Tonight Show, and it was Carson.
Right.
And while he's on stage, you can hear a fire truck siren going by.
I have to correct that. It wasn't David Say. It was Jimmy Alec. It was Jimmy Alec that took me there, not David Say. Okay, go on. Go on with your...
But you can hear the siren. And Say didn't drop a stitch. and Carson praised him to the heavens. He said, "You know how many comics would have just fallen apart when that siren went by?" He said, "Very, very nice job, David. Very nice."
Yeah.
And so my favorite David Say story was he's dating this girl, and the girl's giving him a really hard time. And he's on the phone with his mother, who was like a very strong Jewish mother, although that's redundant. But
Right.
but she says to David, God, I love this story. She goes, "Let me get, what are you hung up on this girl? What are you, a slave to this girl because she's got a hole? Is that what it's all about? Because she's got a hole? You tell her to take that hole and shove it up her ass."
Oh, man.
You know, Say was always known as the guy. He never changed his outfit. It was always the dark slacks, dark suit coat, the white shirt, and the tie.
And his pulse never went over 30.
Oh yeah, exactly.
You know, he had his own plane, I think.
He might have. He
Nice.
was working a lot back in the 70s. You know, he was out there. He was making it. He was making it before there was 79 was really after the strike. 79 was when comedy took off because HBO opened up in 1980, And as soon as they started looking for programming for cable, that's when everything kind of took off for us. But he was around in the 70s before that all happened.
Well, Barbara always says to me, when you hit big, okay, it didn't matter if you were talented or not, okay, because everyone was getting work. I said, you're absolutely right, Barbara. They were hiring everybody who had no fucking talent. You're exactly right. You're right, Barbara. Do you mean that? No, idiot, no. I said, there were 1,000 comics. They had a lot to choose from. They were only hiring the best. She goes, and do you think you were the best? I said, I was one of the best.
You got
I said I
work.
was working 50 weeks a year.
That right there, kind of says it all. I mean,
And then I don't know if this pissed her off or not, but she said, did you ever have anything going with any of the waitresses? I go, no. All of them. Each and every one of them. I said, I was single. They were single. What am I supposed to do? I'd like to have sex with you, but I'm going to get married in 14 years, and I think she'll be pissed.
Although it does help to underline the double standard. It's okay for a man to be rolling into a marriage with a body count that's bigger than a Chinese cemetery.
I
But
knew a woman. I knew a
we
female
don't like
comic.
the women to be so.
No,
so
I know a female
worldly.
comic who picked up guys all the time, and she referred to them as roadkill.
Oh, you gotta love that. I had to. I'm about to say there's a story, but I don't know that I should be telling it on the podcast involving my family. And given that some of these people are still alive and they own guns,
well, we'll be off. We'll be off in about 7.5 minutes.
Well, good. I'll tell it then. My young. I had to inform my young nephew. I didn't do it deliberately on some of the picadillos of his father, back when his father was a swinging single in the late 70s and early 80s, and because he looks at his dad now, and that my younger brother has all the charisma of I don't know, some sort of East German war monument. It's not. Yeah, but
well, Uncle Dirty one time went on stage and did 9 jokes in a row. 9 jokes in a row, and he says, by the way, it doesn't matter to me if you laugh at these or not, but if you can memorize these jokes, you can work 6 weeks at every Playboy club in the United States.
I love that.
There you go. Hey, Andy, what are we going to do for our clean show? You got any suggestions?
Oh, no, not a clean show.
Don't hire Sam. That's one step.
Don't hire Sam. Make sure that Jason is just in the back somewhere. There's this group.
We're gonna have Susan. What's that?
Yeah, Jason, can you do clean?
I don't. It's not that I can't do clean. It's just I don't swear, but the topics that I touch on are not going to be what one would call clean.
Could you do a kid show? How's that?
He says he does. At the end of his act,
I don't think you should ask Jason that question.
Not until the restraining order is released. No.
Jason always says at the end of his set, "I do kid shows."
I do kid shows. But I always like to wait till the Amber Alert has been canceled. Look, I could do. What's funny? It's Andy. You're a cab driver, as I've been, and still is. I've been able to take these old ladies to churches, have them in stitches all the way there. So I'm doing very nice Sunday morning humor, and yet somehow or another I can't seem to do that when when I could come on stage at Unclub or wherever. Somehow or another I can't seem to channel that. But yet when they're prim and proper, there's something that just sort of comes the way, and you can, again, then it becomes about inflection and situation. It's not about using 4-letter language and whatnot.
Well, September 8th we're doing a clean show. So right now it's me and Andy.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
No, I'll give it a try. I mean,
Susan's going to come. Have you guys seen Susan with her bell?
How did she do at the Ridley's?
Yeah,
she did great at Ridley's.
Fantastic.
Cool.
You got a recording of it, or
she'll be back? Did we record that? No. Oh, yeah, I do. Audio. We have an audio recording of it.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
there's
right.
a group.
She did short time, but that's at the castle. That's always better. You better to get off.
My 5 minutes.
Better to get off. Better to get off.
You could stop right there.
Exactly.
Yes, there you go.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
the last time.
she did a good set.
Bring out the puppets.
You know what was funny is Joel Framagheni was doorman there, and he
Yeah.
recalled that the last time she was there was 19 years ago, and he was the MC that night, and he remembered that she had been there. Her act is totally different now, though.
Let me ask you guys a question. This is more for Mark, but for any of you. If you had been in the business for 20 years,
Which I was at one time, yeah.
right, and you were still a middle act, would you consider saying goodbye to the business?
Is it paying me? That's the question.
You know, it really didn't get the way it is now, except for maybe 5 to 8 years ago, when it started just becoming so intolerable.
Why was it intolerable?
Well, one, everybody who starts thinks they should be headlining. You know, nobody else pays the dues. Everybody thinks that if you're not making it in 3 years, quit. Look, Andy and Jason can tell you, we've been at the Ale House now for 3 years.
Right.
All the people that don't come back that I thought had a shot. I mean, I thought they were really good. And a lot of these kids, they just go, well, I haven't made it yet. I'm not going to make it. That's not what it means. I mean, I started in 79 doing open mics. I got my first paid gig in, well, I guess it was 79. I shouldn't. Leo DeFore paid me. Leo DeFore was the first guy to pay me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, it was Canadian.
Well, you know, I started.
But it was Canadian. So, but anyway, I didn't quit it was 79. I didn't quit my day job. Well, I got laid off. That's how I quit my day job. I got laid off and I started doing comedy, and my mom bought me a big wipe off year-long calendar, and that's when that's when I started booking stuff.
We were living in California when she bought it.
We had one at Cadillac Square. We had one of those.
I started in 81, and by 83 I was headlining.
Yeah, it took me till 87 before I was headlining.
And somebody said to me, do you think that you moved too fast? And I said, I want you to explain to me the dynamic of turning down more money.
Yeah.
How does that work? No, I can't do that. Yeah. Well,
Sam, you mentioned
this is the method this is the method I've taught other people on how I moved up. When we were working 7 shows, 8 shows a week, Sam, and you had 2 Friday, 2 Saturday, sometimes 3 Friday and Saturday, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You always knew when the booker was in the room. And that was the night that you would do, if you had 20 minutes, 30 minutes, however much you had for the middle, that was when you did 2 or 3 different middle sets.
That's correct.
They knew you had the time to close.
Yeah.
Whether you could put it into a closing, and really what they're looking for is a guy who could pretty much get them to stand up and applaud.
You had to move across the country to get the credibility.
Yeah, I also had to move across
headline.
I had to move across the country and tell everybody on the West Coast, I'll take whatever spot you want. And then I tell the people on the East Coast, I'm only coming back if I'm closing.
You had to do evening at the Improv and other.
Yeah, I had to get television shows, cable as they were. But that's the type of thing that I had to do, and nobody wants to do that now. And it just everybody thinks. And I see posters that people are putting. Here's their lineup for the week. I go, how many of these shows are you getting paid for? Oh, they're all open mics. Well, wait, who makes a poster of? I would have never thought about making a poster for open mic nights.
But guys, there's a new medium out there. As you've heard of the interweb. It's not just for porn, although that's my main conduit. I mean, the thing.
Are you making money? Wait a minute. Are you making money off your porn, Jason?
I think that's a personal. Mark, come on now. I mean,
on the porn note,
it's 30 seconds from the end, Mark.
Oh, okay. I'm going to wrap up. That means
I'm just saying there's a lot of kids who think that the way forward is web-based material or web-based performances. So, and that's where a lot of kids
are, you know what?
Aiming.
There's a lot of comics that are doing that. So,
yeah.
So I said to my wife, listen, what should I wear at this unveiling? I want to wear like a nice pair of black slacks. Should I wear like a coat and a tie? She goes, honey, you're 76 years old. No one gives a shit.
Yeah.
She goes, just show up. You want to wear a tie? Fine. Don't.
If you're wearing pants, you're fine. Just pants.
But she said, yeah, but she said if it's 93 degrees and you wear a suit You're insane.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be warm for the rest of the summer, so I'd say
Yeah, so
listen to
you
your
know.
wife. Anyway, that's our show for tonight. We did another hour here.
All right.
Old comics jamming on Monday night because it's our off night. Actually, you know what? At our age, every night is our off night. But we're doing it. We're
Yeah.
sticking with Monday.
Yeah.
If you'd like to join the show, I'm always asking people to come on, but it's always 4 old white men, so it's going to be that way for a long time, I guess. We'll see you all next Monday night. Good night, everybody.
John
All right.
Cassavetes, Trini Lopez,
Yeah.
Charles Bronson, Telly Savalas,